All right, I think we're live. Thank you so much for joining us here at 517fitness.com. This is the YouTube channel that is dedicated to helping you lose weight and gain faith so that you can live a happy, healthy, and holy life. And today we are blessed to have the great Trudy Beerman here that is going to share with us all about stewardship. So thank you so much for joining, Trudy. How are you doing this fine morning?
Fantastic day. Thanks for having me, Tyler.
Thank you so much. So Trudy, tell the people about yourself. Why are you the master of stewardship? Master, we'll say.
So, stewardship consultant. Woo! I've really dedicated my life to biblical stewardship. The Bible says about that, and actively implementing that in my life and in the life of those that I serve. It's huge. I really feel it is the. Is there an echo? Am I hearing?
Yep, I can hear.
Okay, it's a principle, a founding principle, a foundational principle. And your show is all about having people live that happy, holy, healthy life. And I really feel that stewardship is a huge component to getting them to that end result.
And that's why you're here today. You're gonna lay down that foundation for us so that we know exactly how stewardship works and whatnot. So how about we start right there? What exactly is stewardship? It's a word I've heard thrown out, throughout the church and whatnot, but concrete definition or how it looks in real life. So go ahead and explain that to me if you could.
Okay, so I'm taking this definition from the Bible, Tyler, because regardless of the credentials and certifications that I have, honestly, for me, conversation of biblical stewardship, that is my authority and credibility on this conversation. So I feel like the best definition comes out of John 15:8. I'm hearing this echo. Forgive me. It's throwing me off a little bit.
You sound perfect on my end. So yeah.
Okay. I might be hearing the feedback coming off of your speaker. But anyway, John 15:8 says, "This is how you will prove you are my disciples, by bearing much fruit." Now, another one, because the Bible confirms itself, and another one, and this is probably more iconic to the conversation, but I wanted to start with John 15:8 first. So let's go to Matthew 25, verse 20. And this says, verse 21, "Excellent, you are a good and trustworthy servant. You have been faithful with a small amount, so I will put you in charge of a large amount." He's speaking to the person who just responded to him in Matthew 25, verse 20. And it said, "The one who had received 5 talents came forward bringing another 5 and said, 'Sir, you gave me 5 talents, earned 5 more.'" Matthew 25, verses 14 to 30 is the iconic culmination, comprehensive biblical on stewardship. It's not the only section, but I feel like it's the most comprehensive. So stewardship is being faithful in a small amount and earning the right to have more. A lot of people want more, but they don't want to be faithful in a small amount. And we see this all the time, Tyler. Someone will win a lottery of millions of dollars and they're broke shortly after. Baller, gets his contract for millions and millions of dollars. And unfortunately, so many of them are desperately broke afterwards. It's getting the much without the discipline of going through the process of having a little bit further faithful in that little bit. That is what I believe stewardship is per the Bible. Stewardship is not even a word that's really used in everyday life. It truly is a word that people are going to come across more in a Christian environment. And even then, I don't feel that word is used enough.
What
God
word do you
forbid.
think is used more often so that people know that they're speaking about the same thing?
Absolutely. And there are lots of people who follow a prosperity gospel, and I have my own stand on that. I have no problem with prosperity and abundance. So let me just say that. But I do have my own personal stand on that. Sometimes those who follow the prosperity gospel get a false impression is be saved and the millions are going to show up in their driveway. But the process to that abundance is stewardship, because the reward, the master said, you're going to get more. When did they get more? After being faithful in a little bit. Of the journey of Abraham, he left what, where he knew, and everywhere he went. And by the time we get to the story of him and Lot, they both have millions. Lot associated himself with Abraham, and in no time at all, they were so wealthy they had to separate. Faithful in a day by day discipline in a little bit, and then you deserve and earn and are given more in terms of responsibility, money, favor, whatever.
So stewardship it's not always financial. It can kind of play in different categories. What categories would you kind of consider besides financial?
Well, actually, I feel like there's a we want to get to the abundance. The abundance is the goal, whether it is in joy, in love, in finances. These are the areas we want to get to have abundance in. However, we all, in my estimation, three same three starting points, but we have it in different measures. And going back to the same chapter in Matthew 25:14 to 30, verse 5, verse 15, the master mentions that it was given according to their ability. So I'm sorry, the Bible does not operate on agenda where we all get equal amounts. No. We get according to our ability, but we get according to our ability in three key areas, and how we manipulate stewardship in these three areas will lead to the end result of the cha-ching, or the joy, or the abundance of friends, of influence, whatever it is we want an abundance of. There are three key ingredients all of us on the face of this earth have to manipulate to get to that result. We don't get the result without looking at how we manipulate these three components. And the three components are, Tyler, number one is time. Tick tock. Every one of us has 24 hours a day, but we don't know how many of those days we have. But each one of us, according to however much it's dished out to us, we each have 24 hours in the day. Managing that time. Okay, some of us are taking that time and flat wasting it. We're couch junkies. We're watching TV. The day has flown by and we have absolutely nothing to show for it. Another person is hustling hard, studying hard for an exam, whatever the case may be. Component that we all have to manipulate. This is also given out in different abilities. Favorite example to showcase this one is, let's say, singing. I'm not a singer. I don't know if you are, but let's use singing.
I am not as well. You do not want to get
perfect.
Like, so, I'm that guy that's gonna mouth it, because you do not want to remotely hear what I am spewing out.
There we go. There we go. So singing. So let's say three people are given a talent, not equal, but they're given the same singing talent. I'm even going to say the one with the best talent, they only sang in the shower, Tyler. They blessed nobody with that. Every day they're walking around their home, they're singing in the shower. That's the end use of that talent. That is like the servant who buried the talent and died and went 6'6" back to heaven and said, hey, God, here's the talent you gave me. Right back at you, sir. Okay. The second one is the one who took that singing talent, maybe sang at their sister's wedding, maybe in church, blessed a couple people, but that's as far as they took it. They did something with it. They blessed some people with it. That's as far as they took it. The third one, I'm going to say they could hold a note. They weren't even the best singer, but they grinded at that talent, Tyler. Maybe they took voice lessons. and octaves every opportunity. They went to every gig they could get. They pushed hard. They knocked on producers' doors till finally they have their Grammy Award for the best song on the. Had the same or similar talent, but the manipulation of the three ingredients, a third of which is tempo. So time, talent, and tempo use their voice. This thing, okay, we all manipulate the three ingredients: time, talent, and through our tempo. And unfortunately, too many of us are junking up our bodies. I make an income, my main income is I sell insurance. And the mathematicians, the actuaries have determined older, they have statistics as to what people die from. And unfortunately, you probably know this from what you do, a lot of us junk up our bodies and we jack up our statistical chance of dying. And guess what? When I go to see a client and we fill up those apps, stats, and they smoke and they're obese and all these things, their life expectancy has dropped and their insurance rates have skyrocketed because of how they managed this huge resource, which is the tempo. So time, talent, and tempo is how we manipulate these components in our equation, and we get the treasure, which is on the other side, or the abundance, whether it is on our body. Great, we'll have the six-pack, we'll look beautiful, we'll have great skin, we'll all la la la, but we may be failing terribly in other areas. So if you think of any mathematical equation, the higher up you put on each of these components, if you have 1 + 1 + 1, you're going to get 3. But if you have 10 + 10 + 10, you're going to get 30. So it's how we manipulate those components under our control. These are the things. We cannot control money. We cannot control abundance and outcome. We control the three components. And those things are, they earn the abundance.
That singing analogy was the best visual I love that. That makes complete sense. And I've heard, and that's what I love about the Bible and talking with people is I have heard that story 100 times, you know, the putting the seed in and storing it, you know, I've heard that whole story. But putting it into quote unquote today's world, like those types of things, that makes complete sense when it comes to this topic and just life in general. And I mean, with what I do with fitness, it's what you put in is what you're going to get out and whatnot. That's awesome. So my question for you is, what is kind of we have the three areas, time, everybody kind of, I mean, at least for myself, and you might have this too, when I hear the word talent, there's one thing that comes to my mind with what my talent is. I'm sure my wife has the same you know, when she hears the word talent, she might think, oh, my talents. Is there, if somebody's listening to this and they go, I don't know what my talent is there a resource or kind of something that you found that might help people find that? Or with the time, is there a resource, like kind of with each of those three categories, what's the one thing that you kind of always direct people into in helping them kind of one up and get to that 10 level?
That's an excellent question, Tyler. And I don't have a link or a specific product or anything in direct to send them to. What I encourage, there's lots of resources out there. The first thing that I would tell them to start with is a personality test. Those out there, the Briggs, whatever, they have those personality tests. It's not a talent, but it is going to show you where your energy is better placed. In every single possible thing you do, there is an angle. So if you know, let's take the fitness industry. Some people would rather focus on being the trainer. Some people rather focus on running the gym. So even within an area, you still want to start with where is your energy strength. So some people are nurturers. Some people like the bottom line. Some people like the party, like the detail. Once you know that, that's to me a very important starting point. And on that, Danny Johnson has a gem quiz which helps people. So actually, I do have one. I should just, yeah, there we go. Danny Johnson has a gem. She calls it GEM, and each color gem represents a personality type. I really encourage people to start there, because even if they're in the perfect job or the perfect industry, they may not still be operating in their strength, in their area of talent, and the where God has really placed them, and they'll still feel a draw, like they're not in the right place. And they may very well be in the right place, just not in the right department of that place. The second thing is, and this seems cliche, but honestly, what is it that you could like talk about all day long? All day long. It's like without any preparation, it's like flying off your tongue. Get to your voice starts to go up. You start to speak faster. What is that thing? And a lot of people take these things for granted because it comes easy for them. They don't think it is anything anybody would appreciate or has trouble with, because they project. And so I believe that we can make an income from anything we like to do. Even video gaming is a way for people to make lots of money. So the person who thinks all I like to do all day long is watch TV or play video games, there is a way to make an income from that. Because if you like to watch TV, maybe you could be a show critic. Maybe you are good at finding talent. Maybe you, whatever. There is a way to do everything. A person who likes to hike, the perfect person to run a trail business. There's always a way to be in your zone where God has really you. You are the perfect puzzle piece for this spot. And honestly, I don't think we have to be in that spot to make money, but we have to be in that spot to feel fulfilled.
Personally, that's... Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, something that I've always been taught is that you don't need to be a millionaire type of a concept, but to enjoy life and be comfortable is much more, is something more to strive for than the abundant is. Like,
that's a different conversation.
When you talk about like what your passion is and stuff like that, it's that I think about that hiker. Let's use that analogy where they like to hike and they start their business. Yeah, you could become a millionaire and have 100 different hiking locations and stuff like that, but finding that one thing that is that you can live off of and enjoy is a great starting point.
The thing, all right, I really feel those are two different conversations, Tyler, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, that's why we're having the conversation.
Yeah, no, honestly, because we can make and have a fulfilled life, and they don't have to want to come from the very same thing. Somebody's got to clean the toilets. Let's put it that way. Now, is cleaning toilets silly? No. But knowing that if you love someone and you want them to have a nice environment and you want to make things nice for them, you're going to have no problem cleaning that toilet. If we can do something for an income and then find fulfillment, not necessarily from the thing itself, but what that thing accomplishes. How do I put it? So let's say, for example, a lot of missionaries go to the mission field. The real thing that they're there to do, the tent maker. It's that ministry through tent making. There's no reference that says he got his buzz out of tent making. But tent making provided him a way to finance the real ministry. And so he had no problem tent making. Because he didn't even Tent making was no longer a grind because tent making served an important. Also put him in direct, you want to talk about target marketing with people who were like himself. Now I don't have the biblical references. I didn't know we are going to go there, but two of the key people that helped Paul start his ministry when he went to foreign countries, because if you remember, Paul was into the Gentiles. So a lot of times, even within fitness, you know, I've seen people who are police officers. They'll make millions, they can make millions of dollars doing whatever, but they now connect in the fitness realm, which is also an income earner for them. But they connect through being officers. So it's like they serve other officers. That's their client base. So I don't want it to look like that you have to be in your. I'm just saying, that's why I said do the personality test first, because ultimately, if you are a nurturer in nature, not be find it the best thing to be a nurse for the sake of nursing, but the fact that you're caring for someone, you may not like giving them needles, you may not like beds, but you love the overall picture of serving. And so that's why I'm saying it's important. I don't want people to get caught up in that they have to quit their day job and go run after hiking.
Yeah. Don't quit your day job. If you're watching this, do not quit your day job because of us. Yeah, no, I that makes complete sense. Good. Okay. So we need to take that gem quiz so that you can kind of figure out your personality and kind of just where to focus your energy per se. And then with time, just time management. I mean, one of those, do you have any fun tricks with that? I know personally, I try to wake up before the rest of my family because I find that once everybody else is up, I have a hard time. But do you have any fun tips on time management and how to work that to keep escalating?
I do, and that's almost a whole show in itself, Tyler. But in a nutshell, and the reason why you wake up early is because you need that mental peace. Because if you could have found that mental peace at 12 o'clock in the day, you'd have been just as good. So again, knowing the real goal, what it is you're really after, can help you create that at any time or find another way. Because I'm always one for give up my destination, but I may change my route. Time management goals, your ultimate goal is the most important. We're still at the start of the year. I hope your audience has done a vision board of some sort, because the Bible says for lack of vision, the people perish. What is your big grand picture? It is going to help set your stage, because I'm not a firefighter. Somebody else's urgency because they failed to plan does not make it to my docket as my next important thing. My eyes are on the vision that God has given me for my life. And then from that vision, I dock down to say, okay, how am I going to accomplish that? That became my goals. And then within my goals become tasks. And then my tasks get put on my planner. Everything is on my planner, including if I'm going to cook for my family, that's on my planner, because guess what? I can't magically make that time any other time. So I could not be on this show with you and cooking dinner at the same time. So I have time blocked out. If I know to something while I'm cooking, that's different. But my planner, and I utilize Google because it is going to ding on my phone to remind me of the next thing. I can set notifications, all that kind of stuff. I block everything out in 15-minute increments. You'd be surprised what you can get done in 15 minutes. So when I look at my planner, if there's supposedly a gap, time where I take that 15 minutes to organize a closet shelf. Okay, but not being continuously in action, it's like that stone in motion. It's so much to get that rocket off the ground, but once it's launched, it's launched. So I am really not looking for inactivity. Rest is different from inactivity, because you can have passive rest and active rest. Mm-hmm. And I learned that a long time ago. So I may be mentally down and physically busy. I may be I may be mentally up and physically down, but there's always something going on in my life. I don't have time to waste. And it could be that I'm 52 years old, so I hear that clock ticking in my ears all the more. Young people tend to be more, I've got it all, I got all the time in the world. That's a fallacy. We all know that. But that too, and that's because eternity is placed in our hearts. It's not natural for us to think about dying because the Bible says eternity has been placed in our hearts. We're all going to live forever. It's just where are we spending that eternity? So I think that's why that happens. So
no, that's I couldn't agree more with you. I think that at least personally, if I stop doing something, it is much harder for me to get going the rest of the day. Like, that 2 o'clock kind of, oh, I'm gonna sit here for a second and zone out or do whatever. 2:15 hits and it's like running up a hill with 100 pounds on my back. Like, okay, we got to get that ball moving again.
But rest is important and shouldn't be underrated. Stewardship of our time has got to be the most important stewardship component because it actually impacts the other two, the time and the talent and the temple. I don't really know how many days we have. So managing our time, being a good steward of our time, and leverage is so important because when you leverage time, and leverage time is, like I said, it's a show for a whole other day. But I try to downstairs to upstairs. I've put things on the lower steps as I go. I just really, I try to make like I think with your thing here, you're doing this video, but you can also strip out the audio, make an audio. You could even get it put to text and repurpose that and get a blog out of it. And so I try to do a lot of that because time is so important, and I try to maximize my time because that is the most important stewardship component. And in how you manage time will impact even, because when somebody tells you they don't have 30 minutes to work out, that is not a temple issue. It's first a time issue. It's a first time stewardship issue. Once you cut the time stewardship down, other things, you'll now find that you have time to go to a voice coach, or you built in going to the voice coach. The time is the first thing I really feel pay attention to.
Yeah, using the working out for 30 minutes. I mean, when I have clients and they're like, oh, it was hard to get a workout in. I was like, well, let's walk through your day. What did you do today? Oh, you slept until 11. Well, what if we would have woken up at 10? How many Real Housewife shows did you knock out this evening? Those types of things.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, that's awesome. I completely focusing on those three areas, I think all of us should improve. And so that is kind of what stewardship is in a generalness, I guess you would say.
Let me just plug one thing. When it comes to, you ever notice busy people in a job, the busiest person always gets the most work from their boss. And it's like, he's already busy. Why is that happening? Because busy people get stuff done. Busy people written down, they figured out how to get stuff done, which means they are managing their time, and people around them recognize it and they keep throwing things on their table, because if they want something done, who's getting zero results and getting zero production. And so busy people will eventually be taxed if they're not managing their time as well, because everybody will recognize the busy bee in the room, but busy squashing fires and not moving towards their vision, their real true goals in life. So it's good to manage time, but it's also good to manage that time within the parameter of a vision.
I could not have said that better. That is awesome. So kind of wrapping it all up, where can people find you and learn more about this or get services from you if they want more help in these areas? Where's the best place for people to connect with you?
The best place is on TrudyBeerman.com. TRUDY, B like boy, EERMAN, TrudyBeerman.com. That's like my name brand hub. From there, they can pretty much tap into anything that I'm up and about. That would be the best place. I'm always on Facebook.
So
Pick me
find
up
you on
on
Facebook as
Facebook.
well.
Yeah,
Good.
I'm always on Facebook. Yeah.
Love it. Well, thank you so much, Trudy, for just shining some light on this and blessing us today with all of this knowledge. If you're new to 517 Fitness, hit that subscribe button. We're always bringing great videos and great interviews like this one. God bless. Finish strong. And I will see you in the next video.